Hello. I come to you both exhausted and elated and doing something that I said just last night that I wasn't going to do. But I've been going since last night's stream. It's now 7:15 p.m. on Monday, August 14th. Which is, an hour into last night's live stream, 24 hours ago, right? This came this morning. We talked about it last night. Chance did a thing with Jason Rojas about it. And we joked about it on the stream last night. I did say to Chance, don't fuck me. But what he failed to mention was there was nice things said after that. But that's okay. You know, it's all good. My experience listening to this, I think, is a bit different than what I've heard so far from the people that have listened to it. Number one, right off the bat, I would like to say thank you to Chad Chasm for putting this out on the table when he did. We, those of us that like this record, and I would put it into the top three of all time records for me, and I'm going to explain why. And I know that everybody's coming in here thinking I'm going to do a shootout, and I did do a shootout. I've been listening to this record for 24 hours, and I have multiple copies of this record that I've been listening to, and I'm going to point out all of them to you. But I want to start by saying thank you to Chad, because this was a really, really intricate, complicated record to put out. You have to have balls to put this record out, because there's already so many opinions about it, like a lot of the records that he puts out. And this one, I think, hits a lot closer to home than some of the other ones, because of what this record means to some people and to me. And I'm going to talk about that as well. So, for the last 24 hours, I have listened to this 1965 pressing of the record. This one is the 95 Wally cut, and I've been listening to this for 27 years, and I was trying to count it. At least 2 of the years of owning this, I listened to it almost every day. So let's just, out of the 365 days a year, let's take away 65 of them for 2 of those years, which is generous. And I'm at 600 times. This very one. I have played this more than 600 times. This one. Now, that OG down there, I had even longer, but I didn't play it 600 times, maybe 200 times. This is the Acoustic Sounds 33 RPM black vinyl. This is the newest UHQR clear or opaque or whatever you want to call it, Now, this one was the one that I was hesitant, and for a good reason. This is the Complete Masters one. It's the double disc one. It sounds the most distant. It's almost like like if you zoomed out and there was nothing around here. It was like tunnel vision almost. It was like it was away from it. That's what it always had felt like to me. Just a little bit farther away. I don't know what the source is. I don't know, and I don't care who mastered any of these. I don't care, analog, digital, or whatever. And this one, the reason that it has a value to me is because it has the second disc, which has the side three. I don't care about listening to them mess up acknowledgement or something like that, or pursuance or whatever. I just don't. I don't need to, get into it and then have them blow it. But what I was interested in on the fourth side is that it's got the sextet stuff with Archie Shepp and a second bass player, right? I get the idea, let's thicken this up. Let's make this bigger than, we're used to being. But Archie Shepp just immediately starts going into, freak out mode at the beginning of the whole thing. He's playing over top of it. And if you've ever seen the movie Slapshot with Paul Newman, and the Hanson brothers have just kind of created mayhem, and the referee's up in the guy's face and he's yelling at him. Don't you ever do this? And I'm trying to listen to the fucking song. That's what I felt like when I was listening to the 6-man version of Love Supreme. I just wanted to yell at him and say, I'm trying to listen to the fucking song, man. So I'm not gonna talk about this one any further. And I'm not going to specify which one of these I like the most. What I would say again, and I will say this strongly, thank you, Chad, for the work that you've done on this, because it's a great listen. It's not as technical as I thought it was going to be. It's warm, it's human, and it's bringing out a depth that I found. I hadn't heard it before in some places. But the opening, and then they get into the comping up and they start going into it, and you can hear the bass moving around underneath Coltrane, and he's doing all that stuff, and there is much more movement and capturing of the different instruments that I don't hear as well on the other ones. I didn't have to lean in, right? And that's the other point, is that I listened to this record for 24 straight hours almost, and all of these, one after another, and I wasn't sitting down trying to A/B them. What I was doing was I was just living my life, and I was putting this record on like I normally would, and I was just trying to see how I could feel. And I was trying to, my dog even started reacting. I have an audiophile dog. Let that be a lesson to you. The dog actually was more excited about certain ones. The OG one, or whatever you want to call it, the original or close to the year of manufacture, is compressed. And I don't care what anybody says, and I don't know about Van Gelder's techniques or anything like that, but it's compressed. The drums are more aggressive. There's more room, sound, and that is an indicator of compression. If you want to get into the weeds on that, then just listen to fucking Beggar's Banquet. Charlie Watts doesn't hit the drums that hard. It's the compressor hitting them that hard. And if you don't know what that means, tune in to another show. This isn't going to be technical, because what this record actually means to me, and to other people that I've talked to, I'm not a religious person, but I can understand, faith and someone's belief in something. And even if you don't have that in your life, there may have been a time where you felt that life had knocked you down onto your knee, and you were saying, what the can somebody help me here? You know, is there any way to find relief in this? Can I get out of this? How do I get out of this? And I hear that, you know, on the first cut of that record. I hear somebody asking, you know, and giving up their ego or whatever you want to call it. You know, we all have to humble ourselves in front of something, you know. We have to. We can't, you know. There's always something. And this record teaches that. It's okay to believe in something greater than yourself. It might just be your community. You know, it might be your God. It might be someone else's God. It might be something that you find. It might be a book that you read. It might be a record that you listen to. And in the middle of all of the quagmire, you find something that you can relate to. And I found that record, and I found the idea that there is something, you know, that you can aim towards. That's not you. That's outside of you. That's we, all of us, you know. And that's what it means to me. So it's a big deal. And I know, you know, I've been accused of being, you know, a talkative, heavy-handed douchebag. And it's all correct. I am a heavy-handed, talkative douchebag. Okay. What else you got? Let's go. You know, let's keep going. That's not arrogance. It's humility. Everything that anybody's ever said about me in some way, shape, or form is correct. You know, and I have my story too. And John Coltrane has his. And this is not a record review, and it's not a shootout. It's a personal, you know, testimony to something that I think is beautiful and greater than anything I've ever, you know, known about music. I have very few framed photos. I have a lot of, as you've seen in the dark recesses of my cave, I have a lot of canvases that have been painted. And I also have some framed pictures, a couple, you know. And one of them is John Coltrane. One of them is my children, you know. And the Rolling Stones and the Beatles. And there's very few things that I frame. And I don't frame them to enhance my background, because you can't see any of them. I frame them so I can look at them. I want to see them. I want to be reminded of them. And I want to remind myself that there is something out there that is positive and good. And that record, this record, you know, this huge ass weird mechanical box, for the first time, I'm thinking about putting this on the shelf. Having this big encyclopedic wood piece, if you can find it, find the space. I'm almost thinking about keeping it this way because it is that meaningful to me. I am on the Mazzy train too about, you know, not putting shave off $50 and But you know something? This one deserves it to me. And it made me realize that all of the ones that Chad has done in this way mean that to him. And thank you, Chad, for doing that and putting them out in the world. And if we want to get into a Love Supreme, then we buy that. And we put that box proudly on our shelves, and we say this does take up 3 extra slots because it should, because it's that important of a record to me. Now I got the Hendrix Are You Experienced, and I've got the Miles Davis Kind of Blue, and the boxes are in the closet. But I'm starting to think about putting them back out there because I understand the necessity, because it means, you know, I'm closer to the end than the beginning, and most of us are. And that's what a Love Supreme's about. It's not about being saved. It's about being okay with what we've done and how we've treated people. And if you have the time and you feel like you fucked something up, then apologize. Humble yourself. Realize that it is bigger than all of us. And enjoy that. Because that's what we're all looking for. Just understanding and reverence to things that are before us that deserve it. And the OG is good. The 95 is good. The 33 Acoustic Sounds is good. The UHQR is great. Wink, wink. And that double disc Masters thing has got extra stuff. Besides that, that's all I'm going to say. I'm not not here to put one up or put one down. I'm here to put the whole thing up and lift the whole thing up and just say, whatever you got, listen to it as often as possible and really soak it in and really think about it, because it is one of the greatest records ever made. And thank you for watching. Okay? Whatever.